Dear students, I am Nagraj, Assistant Professor of English. Today we will discuss first lesson, My Lord the Baby, from your prescribed textbook, Rhythmic Composition, an anthology of prose and poetry for BSc program. In the first session, we will discuss about the author, background of the story, characters, and introduction to the story. After completing this session, you will be able to understand the background of the story. You will learn about Rabindranath Tagore's life and contributions. You will identify the key characters and setting of the story. And you'll be prepared for the next part of the story, that is, build context before reading the story. The story is written by Rabindranath Tagore. You know him very well. He was born on 7th May 1861 in Jorasanko, Thakurbari in Calcutta, and died in 7th August 1941. And he was a multifaceted person. He was a poet, philosopher, playwright, and composer. We people called him as Gurudev, Kabiguru, Bard of Bengal. He is the first non-European to get Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913 for his great work Gitanjali. It is a collection of poems. His, some of his notable works are Sonarthari is a poetry, Kabuliwala, The Postmaster, The Homecoming or Short Stories, Gora, Chokarbali or the novels, and he wrote over nearly 2000 songs, collectively called as Rabindra Sangeet. You know very well he wrote national anthem not only for our country, even for Bangladesh. Amar Sonar Bangla is the national anthem of Bangladesh, and Janaganamana is the national anthem of our country. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, it is a famous quote from his famous work Gitanjali. And we look at the background of the story. The story is set in early 20th century Bengal. What are the themes of this story? After discussing story, we'll come to understand the themes of love, loyalty, and selfless sacrifice of a humble servant. We come across a humble servant in this story whose name is Rai Charan, and the story revolves around the protagonist Rai Charan, and the story focuses on the servant master relationship also, and emotional transformation of a person. Emotional transformation means what? Emotional transformation means shift in feeling, shift in emotions. That is moving from one dominant emotional state to another state. Examples such as anger to forgiveness, fear to confidence, or you can also take the meaning as gaining better control over emotions. In the middle part of the story, he control over his emotions so that we will study in this story. And genre and style. Genre means what? Genre means it's a category or a type of art it is. What type of art? It says what type of art. Genre says what type of art. Whether it is a short story, whether it's a fiction, poetry, drama, biography, autobiography, we call collectively as genre. It is the genre of the story is a realistic fiction. Fiction means imagination, imaginary. It's a realistic fiction because we have believable characters, realistic characters, real life situations. We see real life situations in the story. And even the contemporary setting. It's a realistic fiction because it is set in a contemporary modern period, and familiar homes, schools and cities and schools often teaches a life lesson. So after going through the story, and we'll get a lesson from this short story. That's why we call it as a realistic fiction. And as I told you already, the setting of the story, the time of the story, early 20th century in Bengal, that is colonized period, what we call colonial India, we call. And two places we can see in this story, one is Bengal village and another one is the Calcutta, the city. Rai Charan, the main character of the story, he moves from Calcutta to village and village to Calcutta. And social setting of the story is a traditional household. It is set in a traditional household, and the class divisions. We can see class divisions in the society of that contemporary period, upper class and lower class. Even though he was so close, emotionally so close to the boy, the baby boy, but he was treated as the servant only. So there was a class divisions in this story. And main characters of the story are Rai Charan. I have already discussed this character. Is a humble servant and deeply devoted. And another character is Anukul Rai Charan's master. And Anukul's son, the baby, he treated him as lord. That's why the story is My Lord the Baby. He was devotionally so much attached to this baby. His devotion is not merely a professional but become almost spiritual. He treated the baby as his own Lord. Hence the title My Lord the Baby. And another minor character we see, that is Rai Charan's wife and own child. Later he sacrifices his own child to his master. So these are some of the important characters we come across in this story. And take a glance on this introduction of the story. That is a story I have already told you, which was set in early 20th century Bengal. The story starts with Rai Charan. He joins Ankul's household when he was only 12 years old, and he was emotionally attached to that master child. And after attaching emotionally to the child, we see some dramatic situations that happen in the later part of the story. We'll discuss further in the next session what happens to Rai Charan and how there is an emotional progression or emotional uh, the feelings of Rai Charan and his sacrifice of his own child. So, in detail, we study in the next part of the story. Thank you.